Tonight, in the 2 Sports Den, the Jazz look dazed and confused. Why did they get hammered in Portland? Rick Majerus, Jeff Hornacek, and Dave Fox will join us live from Oregon to tell us if there's any fight left in this team. Will they come out like Tigers in Game 4? Will they rally and reach their goal? The Jazz could use a little luck, and they could use a better effort.
Fireworks. The Rose Garden was a wild and crazy place today. Portland fans are sure their guys are headed to the Western Conference Finals, and the Blazers played like it today, whipping the fans into a frenzy with an incredible first half. Good evening. Welcome to the 2 Sports Den. We'll go live to Portland, hear from Dave Fox, Jeff Hornacek, and Rick Majerus in a moment. Later in the show, we'll show you what happened at the NBA Draft Lottery and in the Spurs-Lakers series. First, the lowlights. The Jazz were in Game 3 for about 6 minutes. When John Stockton went to the bench, this one was over. The NBA's Coach of the Year, Mike Dunleavy, had his guys ready to go, and they beat the Jazz from the get-go. There were just a few brief moments when it looked like the Jazz were good. Stockton to the hoop. No foul on that. Jazz up 14-9, and then Portland takes over. Damon Stoudemire the miss. Brian Grant, one of his 15 rebounds. Another of his 15 rebounds. 2 of his 16 points. 7-0 run by the Blazers. They're up 22-16 at the end of the first quarter. Greg Anthony to the hoop. His jumper short. Rasheed Wallace, the follow jam. It's a 19-0 run for Portland. Owner Paul Allen says, hey, you know what? I don't mind spending these millions. This is worth it. Wallace inside for the jam. He had 20. Jazz down by 17 at halftime. Blazer fans are psyched. Damon Stoudemire. After the Jazz fight over the rebound and lose it, Ryder to Stoudemire. Damon down the middle. The hometown kid with the bucket. Portland wins 97-87. Blazers lead the series 2-1. And the Jazz took a beating in Portland. Dave Fox was in the Rose Garden for the game. He joins us now. And Dave, I know the Jazz talked about coming out strong in Game 4, but is that realistic? What was it like in the locker room after this beating?
Well, it's like we talked about earlier in the day, David. This is something the Jazz have been through, at least in terms of being down 2-1 in a series. But there are definitely some issues this team has to deal with before tomorrow night's game to get straightened out. And clearly, following this game, Coach Sloan was not pleased.
I can't really say that we deserved to even be in the ball game. The way our effort was and the kind of concentration we had, and if we're scared of the cowbells, we better not be around.
There's no question the folks in Portland know how to put on a show, but don't blame this disaster on the crowd or the cowbells. The Blazers had a very specific plan, and the Jazz fell for it.
Any opportunity we had, we wanted to make them run. We wanted to make sure that they're going to constantly have to chase us down, and it worked.
I think we have to realize these guys are quick, and we got to be sure of our passes. And I think if we do that we can correct some things. But with a talented team like theirs, you can't allow to give them that many opportunities at it.
Have been in, like you said, in this spot before this year, years past. You can't be that concerned about it.
Well, I think one of the main things we're concerned about is the turnovers.
2 most adjustments that we need to make is blocking off on the offensive end and taking care of the ball.
Turnovers continue to plague this team.
You have to give them credit for all that. I think they're a tremendous defensive team the way they're playing, and they've done a great job of defending us, and we've done a great job of hanging out.
The Jazz have less than 24 hours to solve this problem, and if they don't block out, and if they don't take care of the basketball, this will be a very short postseason.
That's always the interesting thing to me is who's going to come and play tomorrow? Are we going to play scared, or are we going to come out and show a little bit of heart? I mean, if you foul out a ball game, I'd rather you do that than go out there and not even know what's going on. We had 24-second violations. We didn't even know where the clock was.
Joining me now here live from Portland, Jeff Hornacek, Coach Majerus, our expert Jazz analyst. And Jeff, I got to ask you, first of all, everybody's talking about that scoring drought you went through. I think it was about 9 minutes on the game clock. It was almost half an hour real time because I checked my watch. That had to have been incredibly frustrating a period of time when you just got to get that one. You couldn't even get a free throw to go down.
Well, that was a difference in the game. We got off to a pretty decent start. We were, I think, at that point up 16-15. All of a sudden, they scored 19 straight points at the end of the first quarter and that first 5-6 minutes of the second quarter. So that was a big difference. And then once you're chasing 15, 18 points, it gets tough.
Coach, one of the things that the Blazers were talking about was not just playing defense, but when you play against these Jazz, you have to play the entire 24-second clock, or they can burn you at the last second, and they showed that.
Well, they were disruptive tonight. They got steals. Greg Anthony had tremendous pressure. He's just a one-man disruptor right now. I think they've got to do what they did late in the half there. Malone offered that early pick. Stockton ran him off, took it all the way in for a layup, and Anthony got clocked. But this is not unlike last year, Jeff, where San Antonio beat you badly.
Well, sometimes that's good for us. When we get beat bad like this, we come back and play pretty well in the next game. So, I think the big difference, like you said, their defensive intensity, we're trying to make those second and third passes, those extra ones to get that last thing, and they're doing a great job of rotating, getting their hands on it, whereas when they run a play, we rotate the first or second guy, and they make the extra pass, and our third guy's not there, and they're getting easy shots.
So quit passing and start shooting.
I think that's the secret.
We're going to talk more. We got a lot more to talk about. We'll do that as the Den continues live from Portland right after this.
Tonight's On to the Title, brought to you by Utah Dodge Dealers and Fred Meyer.
During Adventure 99, Dodge will give you a great lease deal on a Dodge Ram. Or, if you buy a Dodge Dakota, get your choice of a $1,000 cash allowance. Or, a great vacation package worth up to $1,800 at the new Universal Studios Islands of Adventure theme park in Orlando, Florida. Or a vacation package at Universal Studios Hollywood. It's the adventure of a lifetime, and we have the rides to prove it. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
I don't know.
This?
Maybe.
Okay, how about this?
What's on your list today? You'll find it at Fred Meyer.
The paint store at Fred Meyer has over 6,000 colors, so you'll find the perfect shade. Plus, we'll show you a wide variety of paints, so you can choose the quality and price that's right for the job.
Okay. Wall, trim, woodwork. And for the bedroom...
Oh, boy.
You'll find it at Fred Meyer.
It's coming to the West. You can't stop it. It's the Ford Tough Truck Stampede. Corral big savings on a '99 Ford F-Series with 4.9 financing. And round up $500 worth of Ford accessories at no extra charge. Choose between bed liners, tonneau covers, running boards, diamond plate toolboxes, and more. Get America's best-selling truck with 4.9 financing and $500 in accessories at no extra charge. So posse up to your Heart of the West Ford stores today.
Tonight's On to the Title, brought to you by R.C. Willey.
You're in the 2 News Sports Den with Dave Fox.
Home now. We got half a job done. We haven't done anything. As far as I'm concerned, we haven't done anything. We came out, we showed good focus, we played extremely tough, but it's only half a job. It doesn't do one bit of good, this game today, unless we turn around tomorrow and get a win.
That's Coach Mike Dunleavy. Very good point. Big win for the Blazers, but as he says, doesn't mean a thing if they don't win again tomorrow. Jeff Hornacek, Coach Majerus joining us, and we touched on this as we went to the break. Yeah, maybe you need to just get down there, toss the ball before the defense has a chance to set it. Because as you say, every time, well, not every time, but a lot of times when you're making those extra passes, that's when they're getting tipped away.
Well, we're an unselfish team. We try to make those extra passes, but we may have to take a look at if you have an open 15-footer, that's going to be just as good as a shot inside trying to shoot it over Sabonis and Rashid, something like that. So I know as a coach, Coach Majerus probably doesn't think, don't just start jacking them up there. But if we do that, we can't go crazy with it, but maybe we push it up a little bit more and get some easy shots.
Let me tell you, my observation on the Blazers is I think they've underachieved a bit in the regular season. This team is extremely deep. They got 10 players they can play. They're athletic, they're long, and they're young. They have 4 variables that are going with them, and they take chances and gamble, and Sabonis is a good space eater inside, and the Jazz can't seem to make them pay by a 5-man presence. It's been the Jazz's Achilles heel all year that the only inside scoring presence they have is Karl, and today he takes his 4 shots consecutively and makes them off the elbow in the second half.
Well, it would help to get Sabonis out of there. Like you said, he takes up a lot of space, but over the year we haven't gone to our 5-man, so it'd be a little tough to, I think, start running stuff for Greg. But if Greg Foster happens to get in there, or Todd Fuller, and they start hitting maybe a little 15, 17-foot jumper, that might pull them out.
Interesting point today. Sabonis takes the most shots on the team, and they went right after the Jazz inside with Sabonis. And when he's not there, he negates any kind of a rebound and fast break by the Jazz, because you have to. He's the man's massive. He's an unbelievably big human being. TV can't do justice to it, and he is such an astute player. And he lets the game come to him in a very nice kind of way, kind of Tim Duncan-esque, if you will. He doesn't force the issue at all, and has a tremendous court presence relative to every aspect of basketball. He's really underrated.
We're going to take a break here and come back and take some phone calls, and we'll do that live from Portland. Jeff Hornacek, Coach Majerus, as the Sports Den continues.
Tonight's On to the Title, brought to you by Saturn and Diamond Glass.
Eyes of a puppy dog. Lips made for sin. You're not dreaming. I'm for real. We got a call.
Hello.
Louis?
Yeah?
Louis?
Want to get away? Southwest has your ticket to freedom with Southwest Airlines Fun Fares that begin at $39.
You are now free to move about the country.
Why the long face, Dad?
It's hard to act chipper, son, with Diamond Glass around.
Diamond Glass?
Their free mobile service is so quick and convenient, our work just never seems to last. No matter how many windshields we throw ourselves into. As fast as we can wreck them, Diamond Glass replaces them anywhere in the Mountain West.
Gee, I guess life in the fast lane's not all it's cracked up to be.
Diamond Glass. We fix it right, and we fix it fast. Anywhere.
1, 2, 3! Yeah!
Checker gives you more oil choices like Chevron or 76, both just 79 cents a quart every day after mail-in rebate. More brands, more parts. Checker, the place to start for parts.
Oh, no. No. What are you doing? Give me the bag. Stance is all wrong. Check this out. Come to Papa.
The Saturn wagon. With easy to maintain, dent-resistant doors.
Ooh. Good pitch. I'll see you guys later.
Tonight's On to the Title, brought to you by Salt Lake Mazda dealers and 7-Eleven stores.
Welcome back to Portland. We're joined by Jeff Hornacek and Coach Majerus. Tomorrow night, Game 2, 6:30 Salt Lake time. Jazz really need to win that one. We're going to take some phone calls right now. We'll begin with Jeff in West Valley. Jeff, go ahead. You're on with Jeff and the coach.
Hey, thanks for letting me be on the show. I think the Jazz are doing a good job in the playoffs. They need to maybe step it up, maybe get stocked in some more shots. And I was wondering, how come they're not wearing the black uniform?
Well, you want to answer the first one, Coach? I'll answer the second one.
Well, I think part of it is John has to look for more shots. I've always said that the only criticism I could offer, and it is the nicest criticism you can ever give to a player, and everybody knows it, is John Stockton is unselfish to a fault. Coming off the pick and roll, all great players look for themselves first. He looks pick and roll, looks draw and kick opposite, takes pull-up J. He's just a consummate team player, and I think many times they would be better if he does look for himself. I'm sure the coaches don't deter that, do they?
No, John. I think, like you said, he's looking for everybody else, and there are times when he tries to take over and has a shot, and us as players tell him, John, you got to shoot a little more because that keeps everybody a little more honest. Then
the uniforms.
The uniforms. Well.
They forgot them.
Usually, no.
Are they here?
They're here, and I'm sure they'll be worn tomorrow.
Oh.
I think it turns out to be a superstitious thing. And we beat Sacramento in that Game 4 with the purple ones, so we had to wear them again. So now that we lost, I think we'll wear the black tomorrow.
That creates a real problem because this is a Game 4, but you lost, and
it's up to the trainer, whatever he puts out there.
Let's go to Debbie from Salt Lake City. Debbie, go ahead.
I was just wondering about how come when they took John Stockton out at the 6-minute mark, why did they sit him for so long? He was, they went for a 19-0 run, and it just didn't make sense to a lot of us watching.
He was actually sat for the time he normally sits down, but I guess that's an interesting question. A lot of times adjustments aren't made on that. That's a very set pattern to your substitutions.
Well, Jerry's done that for years, and I think he thinks that the bench guys, when they know they're going in and they know they're playing a set amount of time, that allows them to play without fear of making mistakes. They know they're going to be in there, but now that it's playoff time, I think Jerry's still trying to read, thinking that we're going to continue on in these playoffs, trying to get us more rest. But I think we're at the point now that you may see John coming back a little bit earlier, or not even coming out in that first quarter till later in the period, depending on how the flow of the game's going.
So aside from the normal rotation, it would require an injury, basically, to get away from that. It seems at times, Jeff, it's based on the clock.
It is,
but you think that might change?
That's been Jerry's philosophy. But I think in the past, what we've done when we've needed games in do or die situations, he's changed it up a little bit, so that might happen.
Okay, we'll see. Drew from Clearfield. Drew, go ahead. You're on with the coach in Hornacek.
Yeah, my question is for Jeff or the coach. Yeah, I saw in past seasons the Jazz run quite effectively where Carl would start at the foul line, and instead of running just the high pick and roll, Shandon Anderson or another small forward to start down on the block and come and set a pick on Malone's man, freeing him to run the lane. And I haven't seen that as much this year. Why is that?
I think I know what play you're talking about, but we have run that a lot. He starts up there, and it's basically what we call our 13 play, and we've run that quite a bit in the playoffs. We just aren't getting the quick layups that we used to get off of it.
Is this a diagonal up screen?
I think that's what he's talking about.
They've run that play quite a bit, and also off the diagonal up, they've gone more to the play action pick and roll on the wing off of that too, which I think is a great play, and probably I think it's the most difficult for other teams to defend.
Well, that's I think what we've been trying to do is we're getting pretty good picks on that big guy on Carl, so he's able to go over there on John's man and set a pretty good pick. But then the rotation out of there, I don't know if we're quite getting to our spots quick enough so John has a release pass.
Well, one thing they're doing though is when they're coming out on you, they're almost making you beat it by a ball change, and then you're going into Ostertag or Foster or Keefe on the weak side. They're almost saying, okay, we're going to concede that weak side pass. We're going to let that ball swing, but we're going to let it swing to such a lesser player that we're going to make that guy beat us. We're not going to let Malone, Stockton, Horny beat us. And as I said last night, and speaking with Dunleavy yesterday, his whole thing here was we are not going to let Karl Malone beat us, and Malone is not getting paint catches in transition early, and that's their philosophy.
Dave from West Jordan. Dave, go ahead.
Well, this is for the best college coach in the world.
He's right here.
Rick.
Is this call from Wisconsin?
have a question about the coaching situation. It appears that Jerry coaches by the clock rather than by the momentum of the game. He invariably both Stockton at 6 minutes left and so on. And is there anything really that you might offer to Sloan to
we were just talking about that very issue.
Sloan forgot more about pro basketball than I'll ever know. Sloan is the great pro coach, and quite frankly, the award Dunleavy got today should have been given to Jerry. Jerry does not promote himself. I don't think that anybody promotes him, and I think he's a very modest, humble guy who's done an unbelievable job. Now, these same rotations that have gotten him to 2 World Championship games in each of the preceding 2 years have been good all year long. But look at Jerry. He makes a great adjustment in Sacramento Game 5. How about when he goes small ball? So we forget a lot of times the positive adjustments, and we dwell on this situation here. And Stockton is older, and I think that, like Jeff said earlier, Jerry will make some gutsy plays and moves. He played Adam Keefe a lot more today, and I'll tell you what, I like Keefe's enthusiasm. I thought Keefe did a good job. I think he got 7 boards and gave him some kind of rebounding presence or a second move to the offensive board at least.
Let me tell you the best pick and roll I saw all night, by the way. You weren't in there, but in the locker room, Karl Malone sets a giant pick with the media, and Stockton rolls all the way around and gets out. He's good at that, but the rest of you guys are gracious enough to sit there and talk to everybody after a game like that, which can't be all that pleasant.
Well, it's not. No one's happy about losing the game, but we have to talk to you guys. I don't think we have a choice, do we?
Thanks, Jeff. We appreciate that. Coach, thanks once again. Big game tomorrow night, Jeff. Good luck to you guys, and go get them. Game 4, very, very important one for Coach Majerus, Jeff Hornacek, Dave Fox, live from Portland. David?
The Jazz now trail the Portland Trail Blazers 2-1. Tonight's trivia question. Name the last team to beat the Jazz in a second-round playoff series. The first caller with the correct answer gets dinner for 2 at Grandpa Maddox's restaurant in South Jordan. Call now, 973-3144.
Tonight's On to the Title brought to you by Utah Ford Dealers.
On Memorial Day, help 2 News fight the fatal skin disease epidermolysis bullosa and watch some great golf. Come to the 1999 Novell Provo Open Skins Game. Join Johnny Miller and Bruce Summerhays, Mike Reed and J. Don Blake, Utah's best golfers and best golfing history at Provo's Reserve at East Bay. It's right by the big new Novell High Rise. Just take I-15 to the South University exit. Tickets are $5 at the gate for 16 and over. All proceeds help fight the fatal skin disease, EB.
At Murdoch Chevrolet, you are the heart of our business. The reason we try so hard. You are. Take service and value so far. You are the heart of all we do. Part of the Murdoch family. At Murdoch Chevrolet, you are the heart of our business.
Where do you want to go?
I want fresh.
Hi, welcome to Grandpa Maddox's restaurant.
Banquet facilities available.
Made from scratch.
Daily lunch and dinner specials. Grandpa Maddox Restaurant, a tradition of excellence in South Jordan.
Your Maverick store is selling monster truck cups. Pull the tab off the cup and win a monster truck and hundreds of thousands of other prizes. Maverick Country Store and Bakery. Buy the monster cup and pull a lucky tab.
In Utah, RC Willey sells more big screen TVs than all the competition combined. And there's a reason. No one has the selection of name brands that RC Willey carries, and who else will deliver it the next day for free? And don't forget about the price.
For the Jazz playoffs, RC Willey brings you great values on Sony big screens like this giant 53-inch with 2-tuner picture-in-picture, just $19.99. And Big Screen Express brings it the next day. Sony big screens start at just $15.99.
Nobody beats RC Willey. Nobody.
Tonight's On to the Title brought to you by Southwest Airlines.
Welcome back. We're back once again trying to get rid of them. They didn't want to leave just yet because we got a couple more things to talk about. We were talking earlier about the rebounding, and Coach, I mentioned to you, has a favorite saying in practice he tells his players is the rebounding is an affair of the heart. If that's the case, I mean, how does this continually, this offensive rebounding that they get away with, and it hurts you at particular times because game-wide it was pretty even on both teams. But in the first half, their offensive rebounds killed you.
Well, I think they had 11 at half.
Yeah.
And, it is determination. You got to go after them. We're outsized against those guys at most of the positions. So, Grant and Carl kind of neutralized each other, and we needed everybody else to try to really go at it. And they got a bunch of them in there today, which kept us from probably getting a little bit bigger lead in the beginning of the first quarter.
Sabonis walks his man under. What you've got to do is make room for yourself, and you can't let Sabonis push you under. And then if he not only if he doesn't get the rebound, you've got no chance of getting the ball underneath the basket. And then Grant, I'm going to tell you something. Grant's going to be an unbelievable star in this league. I didn't realize how good he was. He moves a second time, Dave. He's got terrific bounce. He moves laterally a second time, and he can go up a second and third time. He's got unbelievable hands, never loses the ball. The guy is going to be an all-pro player for the next 5, 6, 7 years. I didn't realize how good he was till I've studied him here the last 4 or 5 days.
A couple of keys for tomorrow night, Coach.
Jeff, you go ahead.
We'll start with you, Jeff.
Well, again, it seems like an old story, but the rebounding and turnovers. If we can somehow eliminate those, we have to execute a little bit better, set harder screens, get a little meaner. There's a lot of banging out there, but we're bumping into guys, but we're not knocking anybody down.
Well, you know what you need to do when you're bumping into them? Anthony flopped twice, once against Stockton, big time, right after the one offensive foul of Stockton's. I mean, they're not listening. Let's go flop.
Well, I guess you can say that. You expect that the refs won't call the flop, so it's kind of a big chance you take if you flop and they don't call it, then the guy lays it in. So we're not going to play that. We're going to play hard, and if they knock us down, they do.